A robust psyche is cultivated akin to a resilient physique, demanding both perseverance and resistance. Consider the proposition that your foremost adversary resides not externally, but internally within the confines of your consciousness. It is not a supervisor, societal pressures, or circumstances that hinder you, but rather the facet of yourself that harbors skepticism, delays action, and prioritizes apprehension over potential. This internal conflict is not resolved through physical combat, but through the conscious choices made daily. Every consideration, hesitation, and justification presents an impediment. The true antagonist is not an external entity, but the internal monologue that endeavors to restrain your progress. However, self-assurance is not a commodity to be discovered, but a quality to be developed. It functions as a mental muscle, fortifying with each challenge encountered. Every instance of overcoming doubt, of silencing the internal critic, augments your strength. You transcend the limitations imposed by your fears, evolving into an unstoppable force. The strategy for triumphing in this internal battle involves persistent action, an unwavering sense of identity, and a mindset that refuses to yield. Grasp the realization that external assistance is not forthcoming, as it is unnecessary. What you require is faith in your capabilities, your tenacity, and your capacity to surmount every adversity encountered. This is the narrative of self-belief, of the ongoing contest between your present self and your potential self. The decision rests with you. Will you succumb to internal doubts, or will you overcome them? Now let's dive deeper into Stoic philosophy and its life-changing principles. If this video helps you connect with your inner voice, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our content. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below and join our community to ask questions and learn from others. Your feedback is invaluable, and we appreciate your engagement. Your participation is crucial to our collective growth. Lesson 1 delves into the internal conflict of self-doubt. Stoic philosophers posited that our minds pose a greater threat than external factors. Marcus Aurelius articulated that control over one's mind supersedes external events, emphasizing the power derived from this realization. The genuine struggle lies not with the external world, but with the restrictive beliefs we harbor. Doubt subtly infiltrates our thoughts, suggesting inadequacy, potential failure, excessive difficulty, lack of time, or the superiority of others. Yet the genesis of this voice is not rooted in reality, but in fear masquerading as logic. To break free from this cycle, initiate small changes. Challenge each negative thought with supporting evidence. When your mind expresses inability, question the source of this belief. Document every accomplishment, regardless of magnitude, to construct a compelling case for your abilities. This process gradually converts hesitation into habit, and habit into unwavering conviction. Self-doubt flourishes in the void between aspirations and actions, thriving on hesitation, excessive contemplation, and the pursuit of ideal moments. However, perfection is an illusion. Only decisions are tangible. The moment you resolve to deny self-doubt control, you embark on the path to self-belief. Consider mental reframing. Instead of dwelling on potential failure, envision success exceeding expectations. Every thought carries weight, shaping your perception of reality. If negativity pervades your thoughts, your actions will mirror this sentiment. Conversely, cultivating possibility will transform courage into your natural response. Another effective strategy for fostering self-belief involves actively seeking discomfort. Personal development stagnates within the confines of certainty. To cultivate confidence, immerse yourself in situations that demand it. Voice your opinions in meetings, undertake novel endeavors, and embrace challenges rather than evading them. Increased exposure to discomfort enhances resilience. Visualize your mind as a muscle. It requires resistance to develop. Every challenging situation endured expands your mental fortitude, preparing you for future victories. Additionally, employ the practice of visualization. Exceptional athletes and accomplished leaders don't merely perform actions, they envision triumph before it materializes. Envision yourself, with eyes closed, attaining your aspirations. Immerse yourself in the sensation of victory, harness the vital force, and navigate the world as though success has already been achieved. This methodology transcends mere encouragement. It restructures your neurological pathways to anticipate accomplishment. Olympic competitors utilize mental imagery prior to their performances, honing their mental capabilities in tandem with their physical prowess. If they can employ this strategy, so can you. Incorporate visualization into your daily routine, whether it be in the morning, evening, or before crucial events. The more vividly you perceive prosperity, the more probable it becomes that it will manifest. Another indispensable component of self-assurance is the capacity to drown out extraneous opinions. The external world will invariably offer perspectives, a substantial portion of which may be unfavorable. Individuals might harbor misgivings about you, question your capabilities, or endeavor to impede your progress. However, their pronouncements do not define your essence, your conduct does. A robust sense of self-belief functions as a safeguard against negativity. It empowers you to sift out irrelevant information, channeling your concentration exclusively toward elements that propel your advancement. Cultivate the practice of selective reception, assimilating solely what elevates you and discarding what diminishes you. Consistently taking action is another essential element in cultivating self-confidence. Success cannot be attained solely through contemplation. It necessitates dedicated effort. Establish modest, attainable objectives and celebrate each increment of advancement. As you validate your capacity to fulfill tasks, your self-assurance expands. Every triumph, regardless of its magnitude, lays a foundation for amplified self-assurance. Momentum possesses formidable influence. Once you establish motion in the appropriate trajectory, maintaining progress becomes increasingly facile. Therefore, initiate immediately, regardless of the magnitude of the initial action, and persistently accumulate victories. Never underestimate the potency of repetition. The psyche internalizes the messages it receives most consistently. By affirming daily your capabilities, resilience, and worthiness of prosperity, your subconscious mind assimilates these assertions as verities. Affirmations transcend mere verbiage. They constitute directives for your individual persona. Therefore, articulate power into your existence and observe as belief metamorphoses into your most potent instrument. Enclose yourself with constructive resources, including literature, individuals, music, and settings that bolster your self-esteem. Construct an ecosystem that nurtures your expansion and observe the rapidity with which self-assurance transitions from a notion into an unwavering actuality. The embodiment of your most triumphant self resides within you, awaiting activation. You needn't feign success until it materializes. Instead, embody it until it becomes your reality. Success doesn't entail simulation. It involves incarnating the mindset, discipline, and principles of the person you aspire to be. Every decision you make propels you closer to, or further from, that idealized version of yourself. However, the core challenge lies in commitment. Are you prepared to commit to evolving into that persona, even on days when motivation wanes? The Stoics appreciated this notion profoundly. Epictetus stated, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Your essence is defined by your repeated actions. Every undertaking you engage in reinforces a particular identity. Merely desiring success is insufficient. You must conduct yourself as though success is already intrinsic to you, behaving with the self-assurance and discipline characteristic of a prosperous individual. Achieving success is not a singular choice, but rather a constellation of daily resolutions. The more frequently you enact these choices, the more fortified your identity becomes. It's crucial, however, to remain malleable. Growth is perpetual, and your definition of triumph should evolve in concert with time. Your ambitions today might expand into even grander prospects tomorrow. Every action you undertake contributes to this ever-evolving version of yourself. Strengthening your conviction in your capacity to conquer any obstacle involves setting personal benchmarks. If you aspire to embody a disciplined individual, cultivate disciplined habits. If you admire courage, embrace daring endeavors. If wisdom appeals to you, dedicate yourself to continuous learning. Your deeds mold your persona, and that persona shapes your destiny. However, it doesn't conclude there. These benchmarks demand consistent reinforcement, particularly when the journey becomes arduous. The authentic measure of character emerges during trials. Will you uphold your values when unobserved? Will you sustain discipline even when confronted with adversity? Triumph doesn't hinge on a singular grand gesture. Rather, it arises from daily dedication, diligent work, and unwavering self-belief. Every instant presents a chance to fortify your character, affirming your competence in tackling demanding tasks. Success embodies a process of harmonization, aligning your thoughts, actions, and routines with your self-perception. If you envision yourself as a leader, lead. If you seek recognition for resilience, demonstrate resilience. If you aspire to excellence, pursue it in all your endeavors. The character you embrace today lays the groundwork for your future self. Distractions and temptations to revert to old habits will inevitably surface. Yet, the instant you detect yourself faltering, you must immediately realign your course. Your future hinges on the discipline you exhibit today. Remember, success encompasses not merely reaching the destination, but also evolving into the kind of individual who relentlessly perseveres. Each moment extends an invitation to advance or retreat. Always opt to advance, consistently pushing beyond your comfort threshold as genuine growth unfolds when you stretch your limitations. Begin by contemplating the actions of your idealized self. Adopt their demeanor, mindset, and behavior. Envision their habits, routines, and thought processes. The more you embody this persona, the more ingrained it becomes. Progressively, the disparity between your present self and your desired self diminishes, and you comprehend that the separation was an illusion. It was always you, awaiting your own embrace. The struggle resides not in the external world, but within your former self. To prevail, you must surpass the individual you once were, demanding unwavering commitment even in the most trivial instances. Upon reaching a new plateau of success, refrain from complacency. Elevate your standards, continue evolving, and perpetually reaffirm your boundless potential. Development knows no upper limit, and self-assurance represents an inexhaustible wellspring. You simply need to tap into it with consistency and tenacity. Self-belief flourishes through action. The mind may waver, but action remains steadfast. The Stoics embraced a fundamental principle: address what lies within your control, and action remains perpetually within your grasp. Progress stems not from waiting, wishing, or hoping, but solely from advancing, regardless of the step's magnitude. Growth arises through movement, not inaction. Each action you take, however seemingly inconsequential, serves as a testament to your determination. Every act of persistence adds a layer of self-reliance, solidifying your conviction in your ability to surmount any challenge. Success isn't an abstract concept. It is a practice created by consistent effort. The more you act, the more you develop self-reliance and the stronger your belief in your abilities. Consider Thomas Edison's journey. He encountered over 10,000 unsuccessful attempts before finally perfecting the light bulb. Yet, were these failures or merely 10,000 incremental advancements toward triumph? Each endeavor served as a valuable lesson, each obstacle a chance for refinement. Your worth is not determined by the frequency of your setbacks, but by your unwavering determination to rise above them. Genuine self-assurance isn't about evading defeat, it's about steadfastly refusing to allow adversity to define your potential. Resilience doesn't originate solely from smooth sailing. It's forged within the crucible of difficulties. Every misstep offers an opportunity to emerge stronger, to hone your strategies, and to reinforce your faith in your capabilities. Each setback presents an opening to rewrite your narrative, proving that development is not about achieving perfection, but about maintaining unwavering persistence. The aptitude to perceive failure as a stepping stone rather than a barrier distinguishes those who ultimately flourish from those who falter and give up. Implement a no-zero days philosophy. Even on your most challenging days, commit to undertaking one action that propels you forward, regardless of how insignificant it may seem. Writing a single sentence, making one phone call, or acquiring one new piece of information. Small actions generate momentum, and momentum eradicates uncertainty. When you feel immobilized, remember that movement conquers hesitation. Action serves as the antidote to stagnation. Maintain forward motion, and soon, assurance will supplant doubt. The cornerstone of enduring accomplishment lies in consistent progression, regardless of how incremental it may be. Even a solitary step forward represents a victory over inertia. Throughout history, the most triumphant individuals weren't those who never encountered adversity. Rather, they were the ones who never surrendered. Each decision to take action reinforces your identity as someone who refuses to succumb to self-doubt, instead converting it into motivation. As you cultivate these small daily triumphs into habit, your self-confidence will escalate exponentially, transforming challenges into stepping stones rather than insurmountable roadblocks. However, what transpires when motivation wanes? The solution resides in discipline. When you awaken feeling uninspired, act regardless. When your energy is depleted, engage in something productive, even if it's minimal. History's greatest achievers weren't propelled by perpetual enthusiasm, but by unwavering consistency. Motivation may initiate the journey, but discipline ensures you reach your final destination. Discipline is the force that sustains you when passion fades. A habit of action builds the foundation for unstoppable conviction, training your mindset to consistently push forward even when facing hardships. Consistency compounds, and over time, minor daily disciplines lead to significant transformations. The more consistently you adhere to this discipline, the more naturally success will occur, until taking action is no longer a challenge, but simply an ingrained way of life. When discipline prevails, advancement becomes inevitable, and success becomes a natural byproduct of your daily endeavors. Each forward step, regardless of its magnitude, serves as a testament to your strength. Growth doesn't materialize overnight. It's the culmination of these small victories. When you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you expand your boundaries and redefine the realm of what's achievable. Both the mind and body adapt to challenges, but only when exposed to regular discomfort. Doubt will invariably surface, but it doesn't need to dictate your choices. When your inner voice whispers uncertainties, counteract it with action. The most effective method to silence apprehension is to disprove it through movement. The more you act in defiance of doubt, the weaker its grasp on you becomes. Ultimately, you won't merely believe in your aptitude for success, you'll know it as a factual certainty. There is undeniable power in routine. Success is often found within the mundane, within the daily discipline of showing up even when it's hard. Athletes train, not because they feel motivated every day, but because their objectives demand it. Writers write, not only when inspiration strikes, but because their craft demands it. Mastery stems from consistent effort, not sporadic inspiration. Treat your ambitions accordingly, making forward momentum a fundamental aspect of your daily life. Surround yourself with individuals who reinforce your self-assurance. The atmosphere created by your social circle can either elevate you or impede your progress. Purposefully choose to associate with people who encourage personal development, challenge your perspectives, and motivate you to realize your full potential. A supportive network strengthens your confidence and cultivates an environment where success becomes increasingly attainable. The development of self-belief is an ongoing, evolving journey. The person you are today represents only a fraction of your potential. Continue to strive, continue to grow, and continue to challenge yourself. Eventually, you will look back and realize that each small action has contributed to something significant, that each decision to persevere, even when motivation waned, has solidified the foundation of your accomplishments. While the mind may falter, decisive action propels you forward. Progress is not a singular event, but rather the result of sustained, dedicated effort. So, continue to move forward, continue to elevate yourself, and continue to validate your capabilities. Cultivate a lifestyle where action is instinctive and self-belief follows as an undeniable truth. Let each day represent a step closer to becoming the person you are destined to be. Do not allow hesitation to impede your advancement, for within each step lies the capacity to transform your life beyond your grandest dreams. By embracing this perspective, your possibilities become infinite, and your self-belief becomes the solid bedrock upon which all your achievements are built. Fear is deceptive. It feigns protection while simultaneously confining you. It urges you to postpone action until you feel fully prepared, to remain within the confines of familiarity. However, the Stoics understood that actions and words should be rooted in truth and integrity. Fear, conversely, is seldom truthful. It fabricates limitations, amplifies uncertainty, and constructs imaginary barriers, exaggerating potential risks and convincing you of inevitable failure before you even begin. Visualize two opposing forces within you, one representing fear, whispering doubts, hesitation, and worst-case scenarios, the other representing courage, advocating action, resilience, and faith in your capabilities. The dominant force will be the one you nurture. Each time you act despite fear, you strengthen your courage. Each time you embrace discomfort instead of retreating, you fortify your resilience. Fear diminishes when confronted, but thrives when avoided. It preys on hesitation and gains strength when left unchallenged. Every small act of defiance, however, chips away at its power, demonstrating that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the conscious decision to act despite its presence. Fear often disguises itself as logic, rationalizing inaction by presenting seemingly valid reasons to remain stationary. It convinces you that you are not ready, that the timing is not optimal, and that failure is certain. However, consider whether playing it safe has ever yielded extraordinary results. Every successful individual, every high achiever has confronted fear and chosen to proceed. Fear will invariably offer excuses, but you must counter them with proactive behavior. By shifting your perspective from, "What if I fail?" to "What if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams?" you can reprogram your response to fear, transforming it from an obstacle into a motivator. One practical approach to overcoming fear is through exposure. If you fear public speaking, begin by speaking in small groups and gradually progress to larger audiences. If you fear rejection, start by making small requests from strangers and gradually increase the level of risk. Embrace the prospect of stumbling, for within missteps lies invaluable education. There isn't a more astute instructor than adversity itself. The more you confront those elements that stir subconscious apprehension, the less daunting they become. Remember this: trepidation thrives in avoidance, whereas courage blossoms through resolute action. The sole method to dismantle anxieties is to directly confront them, demonstrating to yourself that the anticipated repercussions are often inflated beyond reality. The more you expose yourself to unease, the more you cultivate resistance to dread, transforming challenges that once appeared insurmountable into trivial matters when viewed retrospectively. Establish a pattern of expanding your comfort boundaries on a daily basis. Engage in activities that challenge you, even in the most subtle manners. Voicing your thoughts during meetings, initiating conversations with unfamiliar individuals, embracing responsibilities that trigger apprehension. Continuously push your capabilities, even when skepticism lingers. Fear, in some manifestation, will forever remain a presence. However, by embracing discomfort as a conduit to growth, you diminish its power. As you frequently encounter fear, you progressively realize it was never as potent as it initially appeared. Subsequently, nothing will feel unattainable, for you will have unequivocally demonstrated your resilience against any anxiety that dares to hinder your progress. When fear resurfaces, as it inevitably will, you will confront it with certainty, cognizant of your prior triumphs over even greater hurdles. Fear isn't an entity to be evaded. Instead, it is an element to be dominated. Every significant achievement in history was accomplished by someone who experienced trepidation, yet persevered regardless. The pivotal aspect isn't to eradicate fear entirely, but to advance despite its presence. The most exemplary leaders, innovators, and visionaries weren't immune to fear. They merely refused to permit it to dictate their destiny. They comprehended that fear serves as a compass, guiding them toward development, and rather than retreating, they approached it purposefully. One of the most efficacious strategies to cultivate bravery involves redefining your relationship with setbacks. Failure isn't the antithesis of triumph. It is an integral component. Each hindrance, error, or rejection functions as a veiled lesson. Instead of fearing failure, begin perceiving it as constructive feedback. What insights did you gain? What enhancements can you implement? How can you adapt? The quicker you accept failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block, the more rapidly you will advance toward your aspirations. Fear frequently thrives amidst uncertainty. The unknown can be intimidating, but uncertainty isn't the adversary, it is the birthplace of opportunity. Should you possess foreknowledge of every outcome, there would be no domain for discovery, innovation, or progress. The most gratifying achievements in life arise from venturing into uncharted territories and deciphering solutions as you proceed. Maintain confidence in yourself, even in the absence of immediate solutions. They will materialize along your journey. A critical instrument in overcoming fear is the capacity to alter your concentration. Fear compels you to fixate on the most unfavorable potential result. However, consider redirecting that energy toward the most favorable outcome instead. Rather than posing the question, "What if I fail?" inquire, "What if I succeed?" Instead of envisioning humiliation, imagine triumph. Instead of anticipating rejection, anticipate connection. Your intellect possesses immense power. The aspects you emphasize expand. Opt to focus on possibility rather than limitation. Instead of dwelling on the obstacles ahead, concentrate on the pathways that courage can carve. Every notable accomplishment commenced with a decision to act despite uncertainty. Each stride taken in faith, regardless of its modesty, contributes to the momentum that ultimately dismantles fear entirely. Your fears resemble shadows. They appear extensive and intimidating. These anxieties lack true substance. Their diminishment hinges on confronting them through action rather than evading them. Scrutinize the apprehension, questioning the precise nature of the dread. Deconstruct it into its fundamental logical elements. Is it the prospect of rejection, the potential for failure, or the sting of embarrassment? The very act of defining the fear empowers one to systematically dismantle it, piece by piece. There exists profound strength in intentionality. Fear thrives in receptive minds, in individuals who permit life to dictate their choices instead of assuming control. Consciously choose intention in all endeavors, from the manner of self-expression to the willingness to embrace risks. Nurture a mindset that regards fear as an obstacle to be surmounted, not an insurmountable barrier. The future is shaped by decisions, not dictated by circumstances. A resilient mind is forged in the same crucible as a robust physique, through perseverance and resistance. Without pushing oneself to lift heavier weights, run greater distances, or challenge one's endurance, one remains stagnant. The same principle applies to mental fortitude. Without testing boundaries and embracing discomfort, one forgoes the chance for self-improvement. Cultivate the habit of viewing challenging situations as training grounds for greatness. When fear emerges, allow excitement to supplant hesitation. Every challenge harbors the seed of opportunity. Imagine, instead of recoiling from the unknown, leaning into it with curiosity. Instead of anticipating setbacks, anticipate personal evolution. Every significant transformation originates from a simple resolve to transcend fears, to act despite them, to persevere even when the outcome remains uncertain. Ultimately, fear possesses only the power that one grants it. It may whisper doubts and uncertainties, but the ultimate authority lies in what one chooses to believe. Opt for belief, opt for action. Choose to confront apprehension head-on, recognizing that each instance of doing so marks another stride toward becoming the strongest, most unstoppable version of oneself. Another potent strategy involves crafting a personal mantra for moments of anxiety. Words mold reality, and by consistently reaffirming a statement of empowerment, one trains the mind to respond differently to fear. Rather than uttering, "I'm nervous," declare, "I'm excited." Instead of lamenting, "I can't do this," proclaim, "I am capable." Over time, these affirmations become ingrained, shifting the default response from avoidance to proactive engagement. Courage is cultivated through repetition, akin to strengthening a muscle through exercise. The more one exposes oneself to discomfort, the more resilient one becomes. Make it a practice to seek out minor challenges daily. Express an opinion in a meeting, acquire a new skill, initiate a difficult discussion. Gradually, these small acts of valor accumulate, transforming one into an individual who no longer wavers when confronted with apprehension. Fear is an illusion designed to confine one to the familiar, to ensure safety, but at the expense of potential. Development occurs beyond the realm of comfort, and comfort serves as the breeding ground for stagnation. The longer one allows fear to govern their choices, the more constricted their world becomes. The encouraging news is that fear can be rewired. When one begins to perceive fear as a sign pointing toward growth rather than a barrier, everything shifts. Fear signifies an impending entry into a zone of expansion. Instead of retreating, advance. Each time one does, the boundaries of their limitations expand. One of the most effective tools for combating fear is to establish a history of courage. Document each instance of overcoming fear, regardless of how insignificant it may seem, whether it involved voicing an opinion. Facing anxieties head-on, be it in a challenging meeting, exploring uncharted territories, or asserting yourself, requires documentation. This record, compiled steadily, morphs into irrefutable evidence of your inner fortitude, a powerful testament that you possess greater strength than your apprehensions. It functions as a ready reference, a reminder of past triumphs over anxiety, a crucial element in mastering fear. Resilience is another cornerstone in overcoming fear. It's not an innate quality, but a cultivated trait. Fortitude emerges from exposure to trials. The more you stretch your limits, the more robust your resilience becomes. Difficulties cease to appear as impassable walls and instead become mere obstacles to surmount. Every conquered challenge bolsters your self-assurance. Your surroundings significantly influence how you handle fear. Seek out individuals who inspire courage, believe in your potential, and encourage self-improvement. While negativity spreads rapidly, so does bravery. By associating with those undeterred by fear, you absorb their fearless mindset. Choose your companions with care. It's important to acknowledge that fear is a constant companion. Even the most daring individuals experience it. The key isn't to eradicate fear entirely, but to refuse to let it dictate your actions. Rather than waiting for fear to dissipate, acknowledge it as an integral part of your journey. Fear signals that you are progressing towards something truly meaningful. And if the goal is of significance, then the accompanying fear is worth confronting. Remember, the strongest version of yourself already exists within you. Fear might obscure your vision, but beneath the surface lies a wellspring of strength waiting to be unleashed. Your capabilities far exceed your perceptions. Each time you prioritize bravery over comfort, you uncover more of your latent potential. The fight against fear is an ongoing process, but each triumph, irrespective of its magnitude, propels you closer to the indomitable, unstoppable individual you are destined to become. In Lesson 5, the mirror test teaches that ultimately, the person you must answer to is yourself. Seneca wisely observed that the most powerful individual is one who has control over themselves. Ask yourself, when you look in the mirror, do you see someone deserving of respect? Self-respect stems from honoring commitments made to yourself. If you pledge to rise early, then rise. If you commit to exercising, then exercise. Each broken promise erodes self-belief, while each promise kept reinforces your unstoppable nature. Self-assurance isn't built upon external validation, but on the accumulation of small, private victories achieved daily. It's not about proving your worth to the world, but demonstrating to yourself that you are a reliable steward of your own aspirations. Before retiring for the night, look yourself squarely in the eye and ask, did I win today? If the answer is no, resolve to make tomorrow different. Ultimately, the only competition that matters is you against yourself. Success isn't defined by monumental achievements, but by consistently showing up for yourself each day. Small accomplishments accumulate, and with each small success, your confidence in tackling larger obstacles grows. Self-reflection is the bedrock of self-improvement. A mirror offers an honest appraisal of your efforts, discipline, and integrity. Upon waking each morning, remind yourself that you have command over your actions. As you prepare for sleep each night, evaluate how effectively you wielded that command. This straightforward practice of self-assessment fosters accountability and sharpens your understanding of personal growth, transforming each day into an opportunity for refinement. Achieving advancement requires intentionality, transforming it from a mere aspiration into a deliberate act. Many individuals shy away from introspection, not because they fear their physical appearance, but due to a reluctance to confront their own decisions. They dread acknowledging their shortcomings, moments of hesitation, and betrayals of their own ambitions. However, genuine self-improvement demands honesty. When gazing into your own eyes, be prepared to face the unvarnished truth, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be. Only by accepting responsibility can you initiate change where it's needed. Evading your mistakes only amplifies their power, while confronting them with courage transforms them into invaluable lessons. Cultivating self-respect is akin to building muscle mass. It necessitates consistent effort and repetition. Each time you establish a goal and follow through, you add another layer of strength to your character. Conversely, each time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your personal foundation. This underscores the importance of small, daily victories. They generate a domino effect, culminating in more significant achievements, reinforcing your self-assurance and solidifying your discipline. Just as muscles adapt to stress and become stronger, so too does your self-discipline when challenged. The effort you invest today molds the person you will become tomorrow. There will inevitably be days when you falter. Failure is an unavoidable part of the human experience. The mirror will reflect your setbacks, but it will also reveal your resilience. What truly matters is not achieving perfection, but maintaining persistence. If today was not a success, resolve to make tomorrow a comeback. Learn from your errors, refine your strategy, and take action once more. In time, the balance will shift in your favor, not because you never failed, but because you never surrendered. Every failure is a test of your commitment. Those who persevere, who refuse to allow setbacks to define them, are the individuals who ultimately triumph. The mirror test is not about vanity, it's about integrity. When you commit to doing something and follow through, you cultivate an unshakable sense of self-trust. This trust empowers you to take calculated risks, push beyond perceived limitations, and cultivate unbreakable confidence. When you respect yourself, others will naturally reciprocate. The way you perceive yourself profoundly influences how the world perceives you. If you project an air of self-belief, others will respond in kind. Inner strength is the foundation, and it radiates outward, influencing your interactions and experiences. Each morning presents an opportunity to set a new standard for yourself. Each evening provides a chance to evaluate whether you met that standard. Hold yourself accountable because no one else will do it for you. Ultimately, the mirror reflects not only your physical image, but also the truth of who you are becoming. The successful version of you is not discovered in a single instant. It is constructed through a series of choices, day after day. Every decision compounds, shaping your future, whether you consciously recognize it or not. The battle of you versus you is the ultimate test. Ensure that every time you confront yourself, you can stand tall and declare, "I gave it my all." Because at the end of the day, the person in the mirror is the only one who truly knows whether you exerted effort, whether you persevered, and whether you honored your own potential. Make that reflection one you are proud of every single day.